Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Okay.
I have been trying to recapture original sound on this, and I cannot find it. They keep telling me something about it. No, I looked at all of this. Oh well. How are you?
Okay.
Frustrating, frustrating. How have you been? I haven't seen you in ages.
I know.
You've traveled and
Yeah. And the bridge has been
up and down.
occupied.
You have a, sounds like you had a good trip.
Yeah. Just a,
Yeah.
a getaway. Um,
Nice.
Savannah is not as nice as Charleston.
Oh, okay.
But that's about the extent of, maybe we'd like to go to Asheville sometime, you know. Out in the- Because I've been there, it's a very artistic kind of place.
Oh, that might be fun, yeah.
Yeah, but we generally don't need to get south, yeah, so,
Yeah. I have no desire to live in the South.
yeah, I don't either, I mean, there's, um, all sorts of things, we don't do badly while we're there for short periods of time, but, you do realize, what was it? It was in Charleston last year. We were in a museum and it was quite a nice museum and, one, placard with information was about the, slave trade and how in whatever year, way back, there were no blacks mostly whites and some indigenous. And 150 years later, there were no indigenous left, still some whites and huge numbers of blacks. And the last thing under in the caption was, this is due to forced immigration. And I thought, doggone, call it what it is.
Forced immigration, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be a story for the rest of my life.
Yes, I guess it will. Well. Years and years and years ago, when I worked on the ranch in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Uh,
I'm here somewhere. There I am.
David, the landscaper guys are due any time now, so I'm just waiting. Kate's gonna call me when they get here.
Okay,
I'll hang as long as I can, and then I may come back afterwards too. I'll just kind of
okay. Got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'd gotten very friendly with a guy from Mississippi, I guess.
Mhm.
And at the end of the summer, it was time to go back to school and all, and he said, why don't you come and visit for a week? So I went and visited, and in 3 days, I was so horrified by what I saw and the way I saw he and his family treat the blacks,
Yeah.
that I got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, packed my goods and left.
Yeah.
I just, and I, that
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we should start since you have mixed amounts of time.
Unknown. Still not hearing that though, David.
I know, I still can't find the original sound setting.
I just didn't know if you were aware or not. That's all.
Oh, I've been aware for 2 weeks trying to find it.
Um,
They give me instruction and it doesn't work. I may just be stupid about what but
Mine is, I mean, it's right up there. It says original sound.
not now. That's the recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it used to have it right there, but because I had to have my computer
Yeah.
completely stripped.
Yeah.
I had to go back and have to reinstall everything, which has been my life for the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
So questions about the spine stretch? Have you done it?
A couple of shorter, like 5-minute versions I've done a couple times this week.
Hmm.
Yep. I don't like I was saying last time, I kind of want to work into it. I don't want to start by doing anything too long and take a chance on aggravating anything that's already going on back there. But so far, so good.
Good.
Yeah, it feels good when I do it.
So no questions from either of you?
Not a question, but I read the handout, and apparently I had been coming up about the same way that I went down with the head, out, and that seems to suggest that the coming up, the head is sort of dropped until you get all the way to the top.
That's correct.
Yeah. so I had been doing it incorrectly.
Yep. No, it's a very counterintuitive
Hmm.
second half. Um, absolutely, the bend, you're straightening from bottom to top as you come up.
Yep.
And so the very last thing that opens up is the plates of the skull. So yeah, good. Well, I thought we should start by doing a spine stretch.
Okay.
I think I'll make my body change the camera for a moment. So. So stepping out. It's really important before you begin to really take that time to establish your structure and your breathing. To sink the chi your body can no longer use and allow it to release into the earth. And then to extend your mind through your body. You're really trying to feel what's happening inside your body. And to be aware as you begin of the back and head being straight, the chin not lifted. And you begin by focusing on the lumbar area and the posterior side, so the back of your spine. So really feeling that posterior group and letting it relax and soften. And let it release and let it bend slightly. Whatever is appropriate for you. That area is not going to open or bend as much as the cervical area. But you do want to keep the area above that still straight. And then focus on the next group of 3 or 4 vertebrae. Really feel that area. Not only try to relax the muscles, but relax the nerves. And allow the spine to bend and the qua to bend just a little. You're not sinking much, but just dropping slightly and releasing downward. Constantly twisting outward. Weight towards the heel, towards Xiang. And feel into the next group of vertebrae. Really feel them. Feel the muscles release. And the nerves let go. And let there be a slight bend in that area. And then feel above that another section of vertebra, accepting that you're not feeling each one independently at the moment. Let the muscles relax. Let the nerves release. And let a bend develop there. Remember, you're keeping the sacrum straight to the earth. And while sinking slightly, it's just a little bit. Then the rest of the thoracic area of your spine up to the base of your neck. Feel it soften and release. See if you can let the nerves let go. Then let it bend slightly. Be aware of releasing the arms and shoulders, back. Feel your neck, which is still straightened. And let that cervical area, let those muscles release and let go. Let the nerves let go. And let your neck bend slightly. Whatever's appropriate for it. No force. Just letting it bend as it wishes to. And then feeling clear up into those plates at the top of the skull. And feel them also releasing. Let everything just release on that posterior side, opening little spaces between each vertebra. Then letting the weight move towards the toes and the body begin to twist inward, but returning the attention to the lumbar vertebra again, but now focusing on the anterior side, the front. Let it release. Let it relax. See if you can get a sense of the nerves letting go. And slowly straighten that area just slightly, very, very little, just as much as you let it bend. But feel it open the spaces in front. And then focus on the vertebrae at the bottom of the thoracic area. Let them relax and release. And then let them unbend, just opening a little. Going to the next group of 3 or 4 vertebrae. Soften. Even aware of the nerves letting go. And very slightly straighten. And you may begin to feel energy flow into the arms and other parts of the body as you have those releases. Opening that space between the vertebrae on the front side and not losing the space you developed on the back. And go to the next group of the thoracic. Release them. Let the nerves let go. And slowly straighten that area a little. Whatever feels appropriate for there. And then the last group of the thoracic area. Let it soften and release. And then gradually straighten. And then feel your cervical vertebra. Remember, you're focusing on the front. You have to learn to feel the front, that anterior side. So relax that cervical area. Feel the nerves let go. Then allow that area to straighten, to release and open, creating space between each of those 7 vertebrae. Make sure you still allow the arms and shoulders and back to release and relax. Feel the energy flow into your arms and fingers. And then feel the plates of your skull, the very top. Feel a sense of letting them relax and be mobile, capable of releasing and opening. And then close. Release. And just stand and feel. Just feel what's happened. Feel if your spine has changed. Is there more sense of openness? And then step together. Questions? So, okay. That was a little fast, for me, but I didn't want to push you, Jeff.
That was good timing for me. It was probably slightly longer than I've been doing, but much more detailed than I have even come close to going over in my mind as I did it. So if I do it with this recording, it will be very helpful for me to make it more effective regularly. So this is very good. Thank you.
Good. one of the things I realized, I don't think I mentioned that, I, I would have an assumption that you would know, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. And that is to remember that with your neck, you always want to think of it in terms of the crane neck. That when you let the neck bend, it's not just bending forward, it's going up and out so that you keep everything open. And I realized that I don't think I mentioned that last week, so.
Well, when I heard the first explanation, you used the point of the sword image.
Mm.
I always remember that.
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it? Good, good. Okay. Did you have any other questions there, Jeff?
No, not right now. Possibly next week after I flow with what we just did a few more times.
Okay. If you can manage to do it, I would suggest that you try to find at least once during the week when you can do 3 in a row.
Oh, okay.
Just to feel the difference.
Right.
Remember, you don't want to do more than 3, that's the maximum you do, and you may not always want to do 3, but sometimes doing 3 will make a significant difference in the condition of your back. So,
Why not more than 3? I mean,
I don't have the specifics of this, but what Bruce said was that if you do more than 3, there is a possibility of injury.
okay.
I don't even know what kind of injury. I'll be honest, I never heard anybody ask.
Perfectly accepting of that, but just.
We were all very accepting of that. I realized that nobody asked him more specific questions about that. So, and I have always followed that rule. I have never done more than that, and I've never had a problem. And this exercise has been a major help to me, to my back. Absolutely. Just I can't say how grateful I am to have learned it.
You do it daily or almost daily?
No, but I do it several times a week.
Okay.
No, I don't do it. There was a period of time when I did do it daily. I talked last week about how it was part of how I got out of severe pain. And
Right.
at that point, I was doing it daily, and
Right.
sometimes more than once a day.
Hmm.
Now, no, I do it, I would say 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay. When you do it 3 or 4 times a week, do you do it usually 3 sets, like you said?
That depends on the day.
Okay.
And how my day is going.
Right.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Right.
So,
Okay. Good.
I think the answer to that is that if you're really trying to use it to treat a condition in your back, then doing it more times, doing it the 3 repetitions more regularly will be more beneficial.
Okay. That's a good answer for me because I am actually trying to address a couple of issues.
Yeah. But I also think what you said earlier is important to remember, that you're going into it cautiously and making sure that you're not hurting yourself in any way.
Right. Especially because I want, I have to make sure I have the right form and I'm doing it in the right speed and in the right manner
Yeah.
so that I get the benefit and don't hurt anything.
This is something that ideally I would like to have you here where I can not only see you, but put my hands on you
Right.
while you're,
Well, next trip to Connecticut, we will be sure to make this a part of it.
yeah, I think we should.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Um, 8 gates, then we'll get into the form.
Okay.
Yes, I will change this.
David, if I do leave at some point, I'm gonna leave this running and I'll come back as soon as I can.
Okay. So stepping out. Somebody into center. Checking through your body for all those areas that you would like to have open, but not tense, but released open. And then extend your mind through your body. Feel. Begin to be aware of your internal organs. And aware that you're going to breathe fresh energy into each organ as you come to it, or each energy center. So beginning, bending and twisting in and extending out to the upper dantian. And then breathing into that area. And releasing any used or noxious energy. Then coming down to the lower dantian. Breathing into that area, feeling it. Aware that you can bring energy into it and release that you cannot use. And then going to the water element, to the kidneys. And breathing into the kidneys. And aware that in your body you have access to the kidneys both from the front and the back. Breathing fresh energy in and releasing. And coming up to heart level, Perhaps focusing on the pericardium around the heart. Fresh energy in, used or noxious out. Scapula in towards the spine, away from the spine. And then taking your focus down a little to the liver. That big organ. And breathing into the liver and out. Then coming up to focus on the lungs, but not just the air moving, but now the chi moving. In and out. Remember your weight onto the toes and then towards the heel. Then into the spleen. A little difficult to feel at first. A small organ on the left side. Drawing fresh energy into it, used out. And then into the middle dantian, the heart mind. Remembering to keep the elbows connected to the scapula, pushing in, pushing out. Make progress in feeling the organs.
I don't have
Yeah.
too much trouble with the liver, generally speaking.
Good.
The spleen is the most difficult.
Yep.
Kidneys, I have a reasonable purchase on, but what I did notice was that, having done the spine stretch, um, my whole lumbar sacral area was open a lot more than,
Good.
I usually have to work on it while I'm doing the 8 gates, but today it was open already, so, yeah.
Aha. Well, there's a lesson.
Yes.
Good. I think we've lost Jeff to the landscapers, so. So do you have any, form questions at the moment? Up to where we are?
Yeah. They always come up.
Okay. On that note, then, I'll have you flow up to that point.
Okay. To where?
Yeah, where are we?
Um,
We went up to, Pungan G after the chop. To the left side,
okay.
you didn't remember that.
Yeah.
You do remember that.
there, or,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, that had a very nice sense of flow to it. That was, I felt like your kicks were better, than they have been.
Yeah.
Definite, a sense of improvement. So that was good.
yeah, I felt it felt connected, you know.
Yeah, oh, it was definitely connected. That was good. Couple of things.
Yeah.
Of course. Why are we here?
Yes.
Of course. When you, after you have stepped here,
Mhm.
let this motion drive those hands up,
Up, yeah,
not somewhere around here.
yeah,
And it moves both hands simultaneously.
okay, I'm separate, yeah,
Sometimes this one comes and then this one joins in,
yeah,
and it's boom.
okay,
It's really this, it's out, but it's up. And then you're getting the in and out of G. So that's
yeah, it's
tough.
it's about time.
Well, it's hard. I'm very, believe me, I understand. Here, that was, I think, pretty good. This here, the same things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I think really that's the only thing I was gonna say there. With single whip, you're on the right track. I just wanna tune it a little. So you're here and here, this is bending and twisting in. I'm gonna exaggerate this.
okay,
Bending and twisting in, extending and twisting out, twisting in, boom. It's all done when that step is complete,
okay,
all right? Because this is twisting out. All of this is twisting out from the time that the step is made.
yeah, I think I'm on this plane rather than the in and out. I'm moving from here to here, but it's,
So notice if I, and this is a good thing to see here. You step, and this is, I'm gonna really make this
Mhm.
big. It's going in, out, in, out. So what you have is a figure eight.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. Right out of the middle of the Tai Chi too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense
yes, yeah,
to you there? What?
I'm, yeah, I feel like when I watch you and I think about what I must look like, that I'm moving more in straight lines than in rounded form.
Yeah, but that'll grow. That's your bet, your compared to a year ago. Come on,
Okay,
you're doing great.
well, good.
Don't waste time.
Well, no, I'm not, you know, but
Beating yourself
that's
up.
what I'm seeing, you know, that
Yeah.
you have more of this going on, I have more of this
Yeah.
going on.
I've been working on it all the time. You know, and I was thinking, I was reading an article, really neat article on flow and continuity by Breslow yesterday that I used to give to some classes, and I'm probably going to give to some of you. But one of the things he was saying was how the continuity of the movement is part of the flow, getting it all to work together.
Yeah,
And that's, it seems so simple to me now, but it was one of the big things for me to learn. I must have told you this story, surely. But anyway, after I had been studying Tai Chi for, I think, 3.5 years, my first 3.5 years, I did a flow for my teacher at that time. And he said, well, you have all the parts, but he said, you still have no idea about whole body movement. And it was like, but I don't understand. And then I have to say, it was within 2 or 3 months after that, I spent a weekend with Master Joe, and in one weekend, I learned what whole body movement was. Huh. But that, learning that and being able to put that together, taken me 30 years. Come on. I mean, it's not.
yeah, no, I'm aware, I will say that probably wave hands for me is, I mean, I lost count. I really had to think hard when I was
Oh, you did the
doing
right
it.
number.
Which number I was on, and that to me is a sign that I'm in it and experiencing it
Yeah.
and not saying, okay, next.
Yeah. Well, no, your wave hands was basically quite good. But you are beginning to get that continual
Yeah,
movement of the sphere. No, that definitely, that's really coming. I've always kind of felt, I mean, and this came, actually, I think this came from Master Joe. In the Yang style, not in this style, actually. But if you can get this much of the form to really work, you can put it into everything else.
Yeah.
So I want you to do this much of the form a couple of times. Just the two grasping sparrows' tails and single whip.
okay, the front, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Trying to put suggestions. I
So-
tripped over my own feet.
That's okay. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
This is giving us an opportunity to work on this.
Yeah.
Another thing that I didn't mention that I want to mention to you, and I'm gonna do it so that I'm face, well, it doesn't matter whether I'm facing you or not. I'll do it this way. I want you to see me on the angle that I'm
Yeah.
going into. So I'll go to that side. So notice that I have never gone backwards. You see me go back anywhere in that?
No, what I could feel myself.
So what's happening with you is often is you get to here and then you go back and forward.
Yeah, my body follows my hands in and out.
And that's happening usually twice in that movement. So that's another piece to be aware of in there. So-
So think about that. I mean, I realize that, now that you pointed out, but.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah, how do you
how
avoid,
do I do that?
how do you do that? So that means that your movement forward has to be slower.
More and less,
Yeah.
probably. Well,
And it's that thing of the fact that when you go to here, you're not all the way forward.
Yeah.
Now you're all the way forward.
Yeah.
Now you're a little further forward. Now you're staying there and boom.
that's gonna be torture.
No,
No, I mean, it's, there, it's an adjustment, as you say, but it's gonna be torture to unlock what I have been doing to get something.
well, it's,
Yeah.
it shows up also in, when you, when here and we come back and you go into shoulder and then white goose, that should all be continually going forward.
Yeah, that has never been right. But yeah, I mean, it's better than it used to be, I
Oh,
think.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
The problem is that when you get to shoulder, you're here,
mhm,
you're here,
yeah,
you're already too far forward.
Yeah.
Shoulder needs to be here, not quite at the dynamic limit, so that you have that slight shift forward still from here to do this. Yeah,
yeah, that sequence from there on through, it just is awkward, I think.
well,
I
it's
mean,
much better than it used to be.
Yeah, but it's disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm still very much having to think my way through it. That's not usually a good thing for me.
not a good thing for anybody, not only you. Remember that you gotta make this step and then go into that last movement.
I'm sorry.
You gotta make this step and then go into that last movement. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay. Better, definitely better. notice that you don't have to do a lot of twisting. Doesn't have to be here. Okay. And this one brings it in, and I'm right in the center line of my body at this point. And then as you rotate and shift, it goes right up from here. So you're going in and out. So it's the movement there, when you're here is going in and out. In, yeah. It doesn't have to be that wide. It's really only about this wide. It's not here.
Yeah, I gather that that whole sequence is too big. out
You're right.
here.
You're actually
And
right.
Even.
Yeah. It's bigger than it needs to be, but it's, you start out big and then gradually it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, you've said that, I forget it.
That's why I repeat it. It's not a big. Try it again.
Yeah.
First and then go.
I'm still stepping late.
Yeah, you're stepping in the middle of the movement rather than before the movement. This time, the time before you did very well.
Okay.
That will take some work.
Okay.
Do you have questions in there?
No, no, I think I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second grasping sparrow's tail was much better in terms of shifting back. And that's a matter of just really being aware of the weight shift. Something we haven't done. Is he back?
Yep.
Hi.
Oh, Jeff, you're here.
Yeah, I've been back for a little while, actually. I watched you and Bill, that whole thing talking about his body moving back a little bit on some of those. I actually realized I'm doing a little bit of that as well. So that was good that I caught that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
In regard to this whole thing, I was going to suggest something we haven't done yet with this form, and that is practicing without the arms.
Wow.
So, for instance, finding the empty step, the pung, the G, Lu, on. That gives you time.
That's gonna help.
That way you have time to really focus on that weight shift.
Yeah.
And make sure that you aren't going
Yeah.
forward and back.
Yeah.
So you might play a little bit with practicing without the arms.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always a good practice, because the legs are, as I know, the legs are more important than the arms. They move 10 times as much energy as the arms.
Hmm.
So what we do with the legs is of supreme importance. And so that's a really good practice to take
Yeah.
the arms away. It also really helps you learn the form without being dependent on the arms.
Yeah.
So, do you have any particular questions, Jeff?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Your landscaper's doing all right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear, there's a chainsaw fairly loud right now. I don't know. I was wondering if you could hear
Oh,
it. Yeah, there's two of them here. I met them, I went over everything with them and they're working at it now.
okay.
I'll be here
So,
most of the day.
would you flow from beginning to go up to the chop?
Okay.
And you can either do it with him or take a break or.
But yeah, sometimes I like to watch somebody else. I mean,
Oh, sure.
yeah,
Yeah, that can be very good.
and he does it rather differently than I do. So
Mm. Okay. Um, I think you can still keep being aware of not letting your movements be too large.
Okay,
You don't have to reach out as far sometimes as you do
right,
with
okay.
them. There seems to me there are a lot of your steps that are almost empty, but not really empty.
Hmm,
Do you,
okay.
do you have any idea what I mean by that? Do you have any awareness of that?
I will be more aware this week when I flow a little bit here and there. I will
Yeah.
focus on that when I do that. And I'm sure I'll find places that you're referring to.
Um, it seemed to me it happened quite a bit. I couldn't see your feet, so
Oh,
that was a little, I was depending on, on where I was seeing your weight.
right,
But, yeah, your tendency was to have committed just a little too much
mm,
to the foot
right,
and not give it the opportunity to be empty and then fill it.
okay,
Um, in, that happened in, I think, in single whip for
yeah,
one.
I was just thinking single whip, and I was also thinking when we step over here for the pull down,
Uh-huh,
I think I tend to set it down fairly heavy initially.
yeah.
That's a spot I do that in.
Um, it, in, single whip, the last part of that movement, like, oh, that's not what I want. What is that?
It shows up.
Get out of here. Sheesh, that's my eyesight, sorry. I know it's there somewhere. No, I did that again. What's my problem? Where's pin? Oh, there it is. So when you go into single whip, you started that very well. The first part was fine. When you go to make this step in the final movement,
Right,
and you've gone out over here to the right, you want to do the step and the twisting in together, and they're complete. Boom. It's very short. So that, and when you've done that, this is still empty. There's no weight there yet. And the weight goes into it as you rotate and shift into the final part of that movement. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I had definitely been putting in a fair amount of weight into the left leg right away. You're right.
yep,
Yeah, I just did it. My normal way, I was probably putting 30% weight immediately on it.
yep, yeah. So as you work through your form, as you practice this week, one of the things it would be to really look at your empty steps, and you might try doing it without the arms.
Right. Yeah, I will.
Because I think that you can learn a lot with that. The other thing I couldn't, I'm not sure about this. It's a little hard to see, but in that first, after you've done single whip
Yeah,
and you touch and you step back and you pull down,
right.
the first thing is turn without shifting the weight, and then the push out is a shift of the weight onto that right foot. And I felt like I didn't see you go back.
No, I did definitely.
Okay,
In fact, sometimes my problem is I go too far back and then I have nothing left for the extra shift going
yeah,
into cow.
yeah, you have to try to make that just a 60% shift.
Yeah, I overshift sometimes, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely shift.
Do you have any other questions in there?
No, not at the moment.
No, because I think that's the big things.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good points.
Yep. Oh, we're at the end of class. Okay, well, we're at the end of class, so I guess that's enough to work on.
Good class.
Good, good. How's Jesse?
Jesse's very good. Doing great.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Glad to hear it.
Yep. Thank you
Great.
for that.
Well, have a good week and I hope your landscapers do a good job.
Yeah, I think they will. We're getting the house into shape to be sold in the very near
Yeah,
future. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
yeah, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and it'll be an even bigger pain when we actually have to do the moving. That's the only part I'm dreading in the whole process is
Yeah.
packing everything up and hiring movers to do the heavy stuff, and that's going to be exhausting.
Yeah,
Other than that, it's not terrible.
yeah, good, good.
That'll be, yeah. So,
All right, hang in there.
guys. Thank you. You too. Have a good week. I'll see you guys next week.
Have a good week, Jeff.
Have a good
Take care,
week.
Bill.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.